Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Well, today's topic is near and dear to me, as they all are. Actually, it's my own spiritual practice made possible to share out here with you in the world. So, marthacreek.com to contact me, my phone number, email, etc. All of that is there. And we're on the heels of a study some of us did together last month called I Am God: Wisdom and Revelation from Mystical Consciousness. And it got me thinking again and reflecting in my contemplations on the difference between existence and essence, and the trouble that I get into when I assert my agendas and assert my will onto the will and the way of life, God, creation. And the more I do that, the more stressful I get, the more stressful I am. So, in growing psychologically, we naturally move toward increasing independence, interdependence, hopefully, autonomy, and responsibility for self, and the surrendering to trying to control what cannot be controlled and controlling what we can, which is rare. So, in growing spiritually, we increasingly realize how utterly dependent we are on life itself, creator, creation, whatever name you call it, universe, God, and therefore the will and the way, the grace of God that comes through life itself, creating itself, unfolding itself, that includes also the grace of relationships, of other people, of our professions, of our gifts that we have, none of which we are we are the creator of. That the gifts I have today are gifts that were given to me by whatever created me. So the benefits then of a psychological growth are clear. We improve. We stop some of our madness. It also, though, it's I'm encouraged today and from the reading and the practice during this course study to not get stuck in individualistic focus, individualistic worship of self, individualistic rigidity about my way or the highway. So it requires me again to come back to lessen my subjectivity about my humanness, my human behavior, and include a subjectivity and an objectivity that includes the divine realm, my essence. So the more my focus gets on my existence, my demand for my existence, my wants and needs and shoulds and shouldn'ts for my existence, the more stressed, anxious, doubtful, worried I'm likely going to become and do become. So now that, particularly since this focus on self individualism is mainstream, I mean, even a revolution, and far more reaching than some of the other reformations we have, including religious, political reformations, industrial reformations. This individualistic self is mainstream. It's in almost every book on our shelf. Many of us will address this self-help. So as it's become the prevailing opinion that we encounter anywhere, certainly in a therapeutic world, therapy world, the self-help world, the afternoon talk show world, the TikTok world, they all make clear the importance of childhood, what happened to us as children, and coming out from our traumatized, disempowered states, recovering from the past abuses, working through all of that to gain back some empowerment, to gain back some control that we never had, and working then through to self-acceptance. Then I accept what happened. I don't have to like what happened. I don't have to love what happened. And I've got to some degree, accept what happened to be less stressed, less anxious, less demanding, less willful, less stubborn, less angry, less rageful, less violent. And then to move to a new level, even beyond that, that is to be a humble, confessional witness of my own journey. So, as good as these things are to a certain point and have absolutely helped me and countless people I know, and so therefore millions of people I don't know, this is only the beginning of the journey. Now, this will either frighten you or free you. The notion that after all the work we've done, all the work you've done, all the books you've read, all the church services you've attended, all the forgiveness you've done, all the repenting, all the contemplation, all the prayer, all the meditation, all the oming, that it's the beginning of a different journey, a new journey, an evolution in the beginning of becoming grounded in being, that could not ever be questioned and certainly would not be left unaffirmed. So from existence to essence. And as much as it's become the accepted truth that the best thing we can do is work on oneself, ourself, and encouraged, coached, counseled on not suppressing, depressing, repressing, denying feelings and fears and such. It's also important not to repress the realities of the world, of the whole existence, which includes imbalances and famine and poverty and destructions and things that are also included. So it can even feel alive. We feel more alive when we move out of vibrational arenas of shame and blaming and guilting and hating self to a new level of even to have anger. Dr. David Hawkins refers to it in the map of consciousness that anger is a higher feeling, a better feeling than depression, despair, apathy. So we got to be careful to keep moving, so to speak, to for our own progression and to tend to our evolution if we have any cause in that, if we can cause ourselves to grow spiritually, maturely, emotionally maturely, spiritually more maturely, and that we have not confused existence, self, with essence, higher self, or being. So, as much as we attach enormous significance to processing and passing the feelings and the hurts and the experiences of our life, of our now decades for many of us, that we also move through the illusions, the temptations, the trials, the opportunities of it all, including the shadows and the disguises, the grace and the revelations, and that all of these are means. These are means, not ends. Never an end to this. So all the way to the grave. And that they are all these aspects of our humanity, of our divinity, are windows doorways, perhaps, not the destination, not the temple itself, but doorways and windows, passages into something far greater than we've yet experienced, yet discovered, or yet realized, regardless of how much we have realized up until now. So at best, the search for understanding, for sanity, for sobriety, for healing, whatever you call it, is noble, for sure noble. And it's not fully the illuminative, the path of being, the unity path, only to the degree that we are grounded in being. So we less and less and less need explanations as we move into being, a greater sense of being, a greater sense of essence. How will we know? A measure of your peace will inform you how much peace you can have, how quickly we can return to peace, how quickly we can atone, align with, accept what we cannot change. So the need, less and less need to blame. In one of the messages I gave a month or so ago, it's like, how do I know when I've done enough weeping? I've done enough weeping when I no longer have any blaming to do. So how do I know when it's enough affirming, enough prayer, enough meditation, enough silence, enough contemplation, when I don't have any blaming? I would not blame self, others, or God, life, creation for doing what it does. I also notice that I have less and less need for success, to be a somebody, to put up a stronger persona of being seen a certain way. Certainly less and less belief and fantasy that I have control, any control for that matter. So healthy spirituality points us to and through this psyche, the never changing or ever changing, always changing psyche, the always changing mental emotional stream, the always changing mood swings, the always changing belief systems, thought systems. So healthy spirituality points us through this ever-changing mental, emotional, psychological stream, ever-changing, always changing, to never-changing spirit. Never changing, always present, always available, always unfolding, always breathing us. And where's our focus going to be? Having more demand for explanations, more demand for achieving, for success, for control, for being liked, for being loved, for being cared for being respected, getting what we want, or more surrender, more acceptance of the will and the way of it, of creation itself, of creator itself, And to notice that when I get stressed, it's when I'm asserting my agenda onto reality, onto Creator, onto life. So this mystery, the mystery of the universe, which is my greatest spiritual practice, the mystery of the universe has shown itself. All of it is included, and things I cannot comprehend in my limited human dimensional, third dimensional kind of approach. And not only has the mystery shown itself, creation has shown itself, that it also is creation. It is also creator. It is also creating in its own accord. It's okay as it is. It's enough. You're enough. I'm enough. I'm okay. You're okay. And no one, including you, including me, including ourself, needs to be blamed anymore, nor shamed anymore, or worshiped. Less worship of the self. Also, less blaming, self-hating, shaming self. And herein lies the freedom of the children of Creator, the children of God. And if that's not liberation, if that's not freedom, then what could it possibly be? So I'll read one of the poems from the text, and it is entitled, "We Don't Really Do Anything." And this is a poem accessing mystical consciousness. So I encourage you to receive the words and just be with it instead of trying to even follow along. We don't really do anything. In I am God consciousness, things just happen. Divinity transmutes the self. Divinity transmutes the self and lives filled with spontaneity, wonder, flow, and synchronicity. The one in the many. Lives filled with greater love and compassion. Always, 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 always perfectly choreographed by the Creator. We are not in charge of this pageant. And this is my favorite part so far. We're not in charge of this pageant, nor can we improve it. Freedom. Did you ever really make a decision in your life? Or did things just change and you called it your decision? Let go of the wheel. Imposing our agendas on creation is what causes problems in the first place. Imposing our agendas on creation is what causes problems in the first place. Let the music of the spheres lead you back to the garden. Let the music of the spheres lead us back to the garden. Let's rejoin the celebration. Existence or essence? Where will we focus today, and what direction will we send our energies in today? Liberation, freedom, essence, being, beyond the concepts. Blessings and love. Namaste to your being.